last but not least, examples 3 and 4. So example 3, it says use the table to find the number of miles X you need to bike on Friday so that the mean number of miles biked per day is 5. Now the first thing I'm going to look at here is the fact that it says the mean number. Because if we don't remember what mean is, this problem's going to be really hard. So mean, another word for mean, is the average. And if you forgot how to find the average, you add all the numbers and then you divide by how many numbers. So, for example, if I wanted the mean number of miles biked in this week, I would take all my miles. I'd take 3.5 plus 5.5 plus 0 plus 5 plus whatever this is. I'd add them together, and then I would divide by how many I added. And I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. So I'd add them all up, divide by 5, and that would give me the average or the mean. The problem with this problem, though, is that they didn't tell us how many miles we bike on Friday. That's what we need to find. But they did tell us what the average was. So let's take this formula and figure out what's going to happen here. So first of all, we want the average, or we want the mean, to be 5. So over here where I have average, I'm going to write 5 equals. Then in order to find the average, we're going to add up all the numbers. So we had 3.5 on Monday, plus 5.5 on Tuesday, plus 0 on Wednesday, plus 5 on Thursday, plus I don't know how many on Friday. Then in order to find an average, we divide by how many numbers? Well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I divide by 5. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify. So I'm going to take all these numbers that I can add together and I'm going to add them. 3.5 plus 5.5 is 9. 9 plus 0 is 9. 9 plus 5 is 14. So that's going to be 14 plus x. And then we still have divided by 5, and we still have equals 5. Well, then I really need the x by itself. I don't like this divided by 5. The opposite of division is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by 5. Over here, 5 divided by 5 simplifies to 1, which means I am just left with my numerator of 14 plus x. Over here, 5 times 5 is 25. And now I need to get rid of the 14. That is a positive 14. The opposite of positive 14 is negative 14. So I'm going to do negative 14. 25 minus 14 is 11 equals x, which tells me that in order to average 5 miles per day, and keep in mind it's an average, you're not doing 5 miles per day, you're averaging 5 miles per day, you would have to bike 11 miles on Friday in order to average 5 miles per day throughout the week. Now, let's take a look at that and address something else, which are our units. Okay, so units are your miles, your feet, your miles per hour, your feet per second, things like that. So, using unit analysis to model real-life problems. When you write an equation to model a real-life problem, you should always check that the units on each side of the equation balance. For instance, in example 4, that's the one we just did, notice how the units balance. So in the numerator, we had all of our miles, 3.5 miles, 5.5 miles, etc. And then in the denominator, we had 5 days, because that's how many days of miles we were adding up. So our answer was in miles per day, and the per is the division, or the division sign. So they kind of lined up. Now, keeping that in mind, we're going to try our last example. So, last example, number 4. You have 96 feet of fencing to enclose a rectangular pen for your dog. to provide sufficient running space or enough running space for your dog to exercise, the pen should be 3 times as long as it is wide. Find the dimensions of the pen. Okay, so first of all, it says you have 96 feet of fencing to enclose a rectangular pen. Draw a picture. It says it's rectangular. Here you go. There's your rectangular pen. Now, it also says I have 96 feet of fencing. If I have 96 feet of fencing, you've kind of got two options right now, and 96 could either be the area or 96 could be the perimeter. Well, given that it's the fencing, that is the outside, and the distance around the outside is the perimeter. So I know the perimeter equals 96. And if you forgot anything about perimeter, perimeter means add all sides. So you would add this, add this, add this, add this. Add the length, add the width, add the length, add the width. That would get you perimeter. So what we know right now is that when I add all these, I have to get to 96. Well, let's go read our other clues. So the pen should be 3 times as long as it is wide. Well, how wide is it? I don't know. So we're going to pick a variable, and I'm going to say W. It's W wide. I don't know what that is, but that's what it is. Then the pen should be 3 times, okay, literally 3 times. 3 times as long as it is wide. So 3 times W. That's how long it is. Find the dimensions of the pen. Now we're going to write ourselves a linear equation. So we went over perimeter. We went over that adding all sides gets me the perimeter. Well, if the length is 3W, then the other length is also 3W. If the width is W, then the other width is also W, and I'm going to find the perimeter. So I'm going to take 3W plus 3W. I'm going to add it to W, and I'm going to add it to W. So add, which gets me a perimeter of 96 because that's how much fencing we have. Now, 3 W's plus 3 W's, that's 6 W's. Well, 6 W's plus another W, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 W's. Has to be 96 feet of fencing. So then I'm going to divide both sides by 8. I'm going to grab my calculator just to make sure I don't screw this up. So 96 divided by 8 is 12. W equals 12. And then we're going to go back and look at our units. Okay, we know the perimeter is 96 feet. So area is feet squared. Perimeter is just feet. So the width has to be 12 feet. Which means what does the length have to be? Well, if this is 12, then we have 3 times 12, because we're substituting back in, which gets us 36. So the length should be 36 feet. Last but not least, if we check our answer, if this is 36, then this is 36. If this is 12, then this is 12. If I take 36 plus 36 plus 12 plus 12, 36 plus 36 is 72. 12 plus 12 is 24. 72 plus 24 is in fact 96. So yep, that checks out. Our width is 12 feet. Our length is 36.